All right, as promised, my new location. I built these garden beds over the last probably month and a half, one at a time, planning them out one at a time. I have plans for at least one more. The first one that I built was this one here, and what I thought to do was, as you go down the hill, this slopes downhill as you go away from our house, to make them taller as you go. So this one's just one 12-inch board or so, 10 to 12-inch board. What I did was I made the largest board, the thickest board, or widest, I guess, to be on the bottom here, and then the other three are like 2 inches smaller than that. Worked pretty well. Propped up on rocks, really, just rocks, boulders, small boulders that I found around on the property, and that's how I built them. Put logs and such that I found on the property. There was a whole bunch of just stumps and roots and logs, stones too, which I left, and we're gonna have a Harley rake take care of that. But just went and collected them, especially in the two deeper beds, and put those in as part of like a hidden hugelkultur approach. Put straw on top of that, and then the normal mushroom and leaf compost that I've used in all my garden beds. And this is what I've got so far. So looking at the first bed here, these are pole beans that I grew last year up a similar trellis. I left the trellis and everything there at the old house, and I just bought these new cattle panels for this. And those are the same pole beans. This here is three cabbage and 3 cauliflower that I did buy from a nursery. So the only thing here from the nursery is be these 6, and then 3 more cabbage over in the third bed, and then a bunch of tomatoes that I did not time it right to plant seeds and make seedlings, so I just bought those from Mottman's in Allendale. And then what we have here, if you can see the little thin strands there, are onions, and then the more pronounced plants coming up there are cilantro. There's more onions there in that kind of the third row. If you see where the 3 stakes are, I didn't label the cilantro, but there's the first stake on the left, onions. The second one is cilantro, no label. Third one, there's sparse, but I don't know, there's like 8 to 10 onions in there. And then the onions that are going crazy there on the fourth one is bunching onions, I think they're called. Then the rest of this bed is just strawberries that I dug up from the previous property, and we'll hopefully be able to let them survive here and move them somewhere else once I have some more landscaping done on the property. Probably will show you that here in a minute in this video. These are spaghetti squash and my favorite Romanesco squash that are hopefully going to vine up this. I know spaghetti squash does, that's those two. And then these two are the Romanesco, which seem to vine along the ground. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to train them up this side of that trellis. That's a golden zucchini there, and then all the little finer things behind it there, those are carrots. The big plant there in the middle is oregano. I dug one up. I think I even mentioned it in my last video on the previous property. I left one. I had 2. I left one for the new owners, and I dug this one up and brought it here. It's growing, so it's going to do great, I think. Hopefully it doesn't spread around too much. Everything that's surrounding it then is spinach. I actually had my first harvest today. I had spinach with my breakfast this morning. It was fantastic. And that's a butternut squash over there in the corner. These are cucumbers that are all along this trellis that I'm hoping will grow up this second cattle panel that I have here. And then coming over to the third bed, these are the other 3 cabbages that I mentioned. Red cabbage of some kind. This is 2 kinds of basil. The green one there is one kind, and then the purple one is probably called something like purple basil. The 2 other rows there, nothing's come up yet. Those are supposed to be, hopefully will just germinate a little later than I was hoping, but will still germinate, is parsley and chives. Although I tried to plant chives at the other place, a whole row, and like 1 plant came up. So I'm not hopeful of the chives. So I probably better get a new set of seeds there. Those are all sugar baby watermelon there. I might need to pull a few of those out. I think I planted 5 seeds, hoping that I might get 1 plant, and they all popped up. So maybe I'll try to relocate 1 or 2. And again, I'm hoping to be able to train them up this. I don't really know. I know watermelon's a vine. I don't really know if it will vine up that trellis that I want. Then this is from right to left, Swiss chard, kale of some kind, and then all the rest of this is lettuce. Most of the rows germinated very well. This one right here, pretty sparse, and then this one right here is almost nothing. But everything else looking good. Coming over here, this is the bed that I just made just the other day. Filled it just the way I mentioned before, and then I planted a bunch of potatoes in here. Didn't plant them too deep, and I'm just putting straw over the top to hopefully not have to hill potatoes at all, but just have them covered in straw. Eventually I'll want to do those in the yard on the dirt with wood chips, but I'm not there yet. This last bed is just kind of a holding tank for several things that I either dug up from the old property or bought, and I don't have a place to put them yet, because over here, my backyard, I'm planning on two-tier retaining walls. So retaining wall on each side of the I don't know, what do you want to call that? Kind of the little valley that is my flat part of the backyard. And they'll each be, 3 to 4 foot walls, kind of tiered back so that I can plant in them. So this is echinacea from my old house. Just dug it up, brought it with me. These are 3 blackberries, the same variety that I had at the other house, thornless blackberry. I forget what it's called. These are 3 raspberries that I planted bare root that I got from Stark Brothers. And then the 3 sticks back there that you probably can't hardly even see on camera are probably dead. But they're raspberries also. Maybe they'll shoot up from there, but they were alive. They came in pots. I kept them alive in my garage at the old house for 2 months probably, which was probably too long, until I could get them planted out here, and they promptly lost all their leaves and are probably dead. But at least I have those 3. Coming this way, all of those are trees out there. I'm not going to walk all the way through there, but that's my future orchard. I guess that's my orchard now. Oh, over here, that is a fig. Had a fig at the other house, 2 figs at the other house. That is a Chicago Hardy fig, I think. 2 varieties that grow here. One of them Chicago Hardy fig. The other one is Desert King fig. I think that's a Chicago Hardy. But all these are 8 apples and 4 pears. Of course, I have welded wire fence around them because we have a ton of deer that live out there and all around. See them almost every night, if not on our own property. You see them when you're driving, and thankfully I haven't hit one yet, but they're everywhere. But the pears are kind of farther to the far side of where I'm standing right now, and then the apples are nearer to me here. And it's all the same varieties that I had at the other house, plus a few new ones. So Bartlett pears and Moonglow pear, and then I got a Clapp's Favorite pear. I got a couple of Fuji apples. I said 4 pears, right? So 2 of them are Bartlett. A couple of Fuji apples, Liberty, Honeycrisp, Granny Smith, Golden Delicious, 1 or 2 others. Okay, so then, yeah, the plan is, and I got a guy coming this week to do a Harley rake, which is going to clean up a lot of this debris that's in here and take the rocks out and such, because it's very, very rooty and rocky right now. And we're going to have a retaining wall on this hill, looking back up at the garden. That's the garage there. And hopefully we'll be able to plant into that, probably more permanent stuff. The raspberries and the strawberries and grapes. I didn't show. You might have seen them up there. I'm not going to go back. I'm going to end the video. But up between the second and the third bed up there, I had a bunch of pots. 3 blueberries that I got from Stark Brothers, several grape cuttings that I took from the old house that I was successful in propagating, and then a bunch of tomatoes too that I mentioned earlier that I got from the nursery that are waiting. Probably going to put all the indeterminate ones, maybe put a plant in with each tree here. That'll keep the deer out from ruining them, and I can vine them up just like I always do, and tie them to either, if not the post, then to the fencing itself, and do the single stem vine like I always do. And then the more significant retaining wall, I'm watching where I'm walking right now because the dogs do go out here. And we're going to have a pretty significant retaining wall coming out from behind that concrete wall there. That's a retaining wall already, just protecting the house from, an avalanche, a mudslide. And it's just going to kind of hook around like this This should be being constructed later this week. And then on this side, it's a little bit more gradual there, and that'll probably hook away, if that makes sense. So this one is going to kind of hook into the property like this, and diminishing as you go in height. And then this one is probably going to hook away. Again, I don't know if that's making a lot of sense anyway. So looking at it from our back door here, our basement back door, we've got this significant hill. We're going to have some stairs coming down here that'll land somewhere near where the concrete pad is here. And that retaining wall will go away. Whereas here, it's going to kind of encompass us a little more and hook towards the middle of the property. And then we'll maybe have a fire pit there, and a lot of maybe a little bit of grass up here, and then a lot of wood chips and everything else you see here. I'm still doing Back to Eden. All right, well, that's my new property. That's as much as I want to show right now. Thanks for watching.